like let's go crazy. Like let's do a banana team, like full of banana everywhere and like peels and like.
This week on High Points, we're going to be finding out who our new winner is. And of course, we're going to be talking about our game that's coming out, which is Blingdoms. Also, we've got SVB crashing. Eric, what's going on?
We're having Breno come and talk to you guys about the new themes in our new game, Blingdoms, which is all we're going to be talking about for the next, however, until it's released. Yeah, exactly. Until it's released, and then some. Yeah. So get excited.
Let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start off with a quick segment to talk about Blingdoms, which you might have heard about if you've been on our social media already. It's our new game we've got coming out. I know Eric and I are both super stoked about it. We play it every day pretty much in the office, and it is in closed beta right now. So if you're interested in checking it out, look at some of the – I think we're going to put some videos along with this podcast too, but if you're interested in checking it out, join our Discord. We have a closed beta that we're running right now. We've been adding people to it to check out the game. And as I've talked about on our social before, it's the first game we've done where you can actually get involved in the building side, not just playing, but also building.
Yeah, so creating and playing, and it's just very interactive. It's a very different game for us. We've done casual gameplay in the past. This is, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more involved. It's just different themes. It's just like, it's just a lot in a good way.
So I think, this... Just this, even for us, like the last few weeks has gotten pretty exciting as far as Blingdoms goes, because first of all, we've been working on it in secret for a year, but also because we're starting to get the first looks of external people actually trying it out and creating things. And so we have like our first batch of like not people in the office creating content, and some of it is so different than what we've made that I was up late the other night just like playing through levels that were on there and stuff. I don't know if you've...
I've got to see...
because you've been involved in the beta group, right?
Yeah, I've been throughout the process, but just seeing new levels, and it's just kind of like, you feel like it's innovative every time, because it's like people come up with such different things, and I think that's why it lends itself to just creativity in general, and, there's no... It's super easy, there's no coding involved, like, it's all just like, anybody can pick it up and start, like, making, to kind of use your creativity. There's different themes, different items, there's, it's just...
So I would say, having made levels on it since mid last year, there is definitely more of a learning curve than I thought in making levels, in the sense that you just sit down to do it and you go, oh, I don't know, I guess I should put some enemies out here. And the cool stuff I feel like takes a little bit of deep thought.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to make a level that has cool doors that shut and open, or sections that you can't get to and you got to solve some puzzle or whatever, those are the levels I've had a lot of fun with. But I realize I bet people spent hours on some of those.
Yeah. But that's why it's cool. I think that's why, again, it lends itself to just whatever the amount of effort you want to put into it, and also your creativity. And it's just like, it's just interesting to see how people's brains just think differently, and how it's like, and then when you're playing it, like, it's like you get a different experience, because even if you're making the level, once you play it, you get this, like, first a feeling of satisfaction, and the second, it's like that feeling of like, it's just like it feels fresh, even though you made it. Like, it still feels fresh. Like, you've made levels before that you forgot that you'd made before.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I made a terrible level, and then I said, "Who made this terrible level?" And it was me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's because it's just so it's fun, it's interactive, and I don't know. It just I'm excited. I'm also excited at the fact that, like, we've been releasing it in layers, so it's like you're getting a little sneak peek of here and there. Like, you guys have only seen the first theme. Hopefully, by the time this video's out, we've shown you guys the final themes that are going to be at launch. But hopefully down the road, we'll have different themes, different items. It's all going to be expanding in layers, and I think it's exciting.
I think that's one of the things I'm really excited for about it, is that it's the kind of thing where they're like, when the platform's in place, there's so much more that we can do with it. And that's kind of what we've been feeling in secret, is there's a little bit of, in some regard, a disappointment, because you're like, wow, I wanted us to do so much more with this than we've done. But it's just almost like even the launch will be a sneak peek of how much we can do, and to tell you guys, we have actually other features to the game that we are not in the beta builds at all, that we're not even talking about. So there's even more stuff that we're super excited about, as far as like elements in the game that we're leaving out because they're still a little buggy or things like that. And there's also just full-blown details to it that even at launch day we won't have announced yet. So it's one of those things that it's not a one and done for us at all. It's like something we truly are excited and believe in, and we plan to put more effort into in the future in so many directions that we can't talk about yet. But it's still, even where it is now, I've just had a really fun time playing it. Like, I think we should do a segment sometime and talk about just like how we did the music.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because like and some of that's been revealed, but some hasn't. And there's something really unique about what we've done with the music. Eric's been like the most involved person in it. He's really the person who put the most of work into it and really the creative influence behind it. So there's just so many little details of creativity that we put into it that I think we're excited about.
I think that's why, again, that's what makes it so exciting. And every time, like, you know, we get a new update, like, it's not like going to be like our past games where, you know, like, it's out and there's not a lot of changes to it. Like, we plan on pushing stuff out like consistently and just making the game better. And that's why if you were interested in coming onto the beta, you join our Discord, because we take that feedback, you know, instantly, and we start working on it. That way we can get the best version out for you guys right off the bat. But of course, we're going to be improving it, new themes, new levels, new everything, going forward. New features that we're really excited about.
And from the beta already, we've gotten feedback that has changed some elements and directions that we were going in based on realizing like, oh, that there's a better idea, or that's not going to work. And so if you want to be a part of that journey of us getting this game out the door, I know we've seen a lot of comments of people saying, oh, this game seems really like a nostalgic kind of, you know, platformer kind of game, like a Mario game or something. And we definitely have influences that we've taken into it from those other games that we enjoyed in our past. And so we still think there's a lot of road to go, but I think even at launch, it's going to be a lot of fun. And to me, it's going to be the best game we've ever made. So
it's a modern twist on that nostalgia, though, because it's like, while it does take elements from, you know, classic stuff, like there's new things that we're innovating and we're putting into it that like hasn't been done before. And I think that's what's exciting about it. It's, you know, it's classic, but it's also new. So yeah.
Right on.
And we're going to have Breno come in later and talk about the themes and all the work that's gone into just creating that world in general. And yeah, it's fun, exciting times.
So next up, we're going to talk about SVB and what is happening there. So Silicon Valley Bank, it shut down on Friday, and it really, the first time I think I had heard was late Thursday that something was up with it. Yeah. And by Friday morning, it was shut down, and then the big question was what's going to happen with all the depositors and yada yada. But flash crash of a bank.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen it. I don't know, like, because I actually had the biggest bank that ever crashed in the U.S. was Washington Mutual, and I banked there at the time. Did you bank there?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so I banked there, and I don't remember ever being concerned about it because I think I didn't have much money in my account anyway. I was like in college at the time. Like, I don't know. I'm sure they'll give me my money back or something.
Did they?
Yeah, because they ended up getting bought by Chase Bank, and that's how Chase came out here on the West Coast. But this one was very different because most of the depositors were startups like us, and they were in fear that they were going to lose a lot of their money. I think it probably depressed the crypto market for a little bit because there seems to be a pretty serious uptick in the crypto market. This after the announcement that everyone's going to get their money back. So I'm wondering if this will kind of calm everything down because everyone got their money back, if the government's going to step in. And so
so do you think it was a positive or a negative in terms of for like the crypto industry in general, not, you know, like not the tech industry, but like Bitcoin in general? Because it did seem like the price of Bitcoin did go up, you know, following, you know, the announcement. So
right, yeah. And I wonder how that would have been different if the bailout of the depositors hadn't well, it's not really a bailout because the people who had stock in SVB lost their money. It's debatable what a bailout is, but I wonder if they had said, oh no, you're not going to get your money, we're just going to follow the FDIC thing, would Bitcoin still have gone up? So what is the driver behind Bitcoin going up? Is it just confidence? Is it people having their money back? Or is it, this system,
the fear in paper, the fear in money itself? You know,
is it like the system isn't so stable, maybe we should put some more into that crypto stuff?
Yeah. Which is interesting because it's like it kind of, again, like when Washington Mutual happened, that was like a more broad thing, but this seemed like it happened specifically to a certain industry, and then, you know, like it's interesting. the effects. And the thing is, we haven't seen the full effect yet, right? Because there's still layers to it that we don't know what the repercussions are going to be down the line as well.
Yeah, I mean, moving FDIC insurance, they typically guarantee you $250K, and then they said they're going to guarantee all deposits in this case. What's the impact of that? Incentive change in the banking market. So I guess we really won't know the outcome for like years probably, in the sense that there's some immediate repercussions, and then there's a long term of like history will tell, was that a good decision or not, or what happened. But I think it seemed to instill some market confidence right off the bat. Yeah. Like Bitcoin went on a tear the last few days. And so that's interesting. And I don't know if that's actually people feeling like, okay, I can put some money into crypto now because I know I'm not losing all my money, or if it's just general market confidence, you know. So
and we'll see how long it lasts too. So
yeah. I mean, the crypto market's the most fickle thing in the world, right? It's up one. I never give predictions on it, and I feel like anyone who tries to even say why the market went up or down is like, never believe that person. They have no idea what they're talking about, you know? Yeah. So we just like giving it away free, though. Yeah. All right. So up next, we're going to have a little segment that we didn't mention at the beginning, but it's called A Slice of the Bitcoin Pie. A microscopic slice of
like a bite of a slice.
You wish it was a bite.
I know.
You wish it was a bite of the Bitcoin pie. Dude. All right. Okay. Let's get into it. All right. So for this week, we were talking about a piece of the Bitcoin pie, and this really goes for Ethereum too. But, you know, the price of Bitcoin today is, I think it's like in US dollars, it's like something like 25,000 US dollars. And so a lot of times people hear that and they say, well, I can't get a Bitcoin now because I don't have $25,000 to spend on it, nor do I really want to spend that kind of money on it. But Bitcoin actually has fractions, or like, as we call it, pieces of the pie. So you can say, I'm not going to buy a whole Bitcoin. I'm just going to buy a little bit. And actually, that's how the Bling platform works, is when you cash out, you get, typically when someone cashes out, they get a little sliver that's so small of a Bitcoin that you probably need an electron microscope to see it. And that is their reward for playing our games. Typically, it's a very little reward. It's a micro reward, if you will. And so that's a fraction of a Bitcoin. And when you look at a Bitcoin, there's one Bitcoin. You can actually break it down into smaller pieces with 8 decimal places. Those are zeros. 8 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is, so if you were going to cash out of our platform, you're probably getting like 0.0000250 fractions of, you know, decimal place, small fraction of a Bitcoin. And that's basically how a slice of Bitcoin works. So if you're going onto Coinbase or another site and you're like, I want to buy some ETH or Bitcoin or whatever it is you're into in crypto, or that your friend told you is going to go up a lot next year, you can just buy a little bit and you can get a taste. And, you know, the funny thing is some of these, like if you think about Bitcoin itself, there was a time where Bitcoin was worth less than 1 penny, and now it's worth 25,000. So even if you had just bought a very small amount financially back then, I'm just going to buy a penny's worth, you would actually have $25,000 now if you had bought a Bitcoin back then when it was a penny, which is kind of insane to think about. And to be truthful, not many people knew about Bitcoin at that point, so your chance of having it was probably pretty low. But, you know, every day there's a new cryptocurrency. Sometimes they go up a lot, sometimes they go down a lot. It's kind of risky, but it's kind of fun, and you can get rich from it in some cases. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, obviously. There's a lot of risks involved, you know. So, but it's a small fraction, and that's the way almost any cryptocurrency allows that. There are some that don't allow fractions, but the majority of them do, and especially nowadays, a lot of them are Ethereum compatible cryptocurrencies, and so they all have similar properties to Ethereum, actually. So, yeah, that's the segment for today. It's a slice of Bitcoin. It's a slice of Ethereum. Thank you.
You're welcome, baby.
All right, so we're back here with Breno, who is our designer, and I believe we actually shot another episode of Blingdoms with him, but the audio was messed up, so we had to redo it. It was definitely not his fault. It was the microphone's fault, and also my fault. But anyway, we're here to talk about Blingdoms today. We're super excited to have you on. And the thing I wanted to talk about today was around themes. So we initially showed a preview of the game, and there was a single kind of space theme in it. But since then, we've actually come out with a lot more themes that we're showing this week. Can Can you talk about how those were selected and where your creative influence came from in working on them?
So they were selected because, well, at least the candy one, because most of our game have a candy base, a cute vibe on it. So we took the candy one to keep it on these vibes. And the interesting thing about the other ones is they were changed in the last minute. The forest was more a kingdom, and now we have a labyrinth one who normally wasn't existing before. So yeah, it was just 4 was selected and 3 came.
So let me ask you, given that we've done 4 so far,
Yeah.
do you have in your mind some that you'd really like to do that we haven't done?
Yeah, I do want to have some more crazy one, like, I don't know, like a banana space, like just this completely out of realistic vibe. It's just like
Banana
and
space?
monkey and whatever. It's just like a bit more random than just normal bricks and flooring and stuff like this.
Right. So I feel like there's a number of theme environments that are almost kind of typical to doing themes. Like, you're going to do a castle type thing. And, we kind of looked at what other games have done. I think for me, original DuckTales came to mind as a game that I was looking at. I don't know if you played that. But
no, it's way before my
age. Okay. Yeah. So it's a 90s game, but actually a remake of it just came out recently. But in the original DuckTales, there was like a space theme, and I really wanted us to hit that. And the thing about the space theme is they had the best music in DuckTales, so I think we really drew inspiration from that too. But anyway, one of the things that I've heard you talk about is doing physics stuff in themes, and I feel like that's a cool idea overall that we haven't really gone deep on at this point.
Right. So we can have a different theme, like higher gravity, lower gravity, floating a bit, inside water like Mario.
Yeah, the Mario water stuff is really cool.
It's really cool. On the snow, maybe it's a bit slower walking.
Well, we do have ice in the game,
right? But it's a bit way more slower when I was thinking.
Wait, the ice is slower?
Well,
the ice is super
this ice
slippery,
is slippery,
right?
but we can have
ridiculously
something when
slippery.
you walk is just slowing you out.
Oh yeah, right. Because our ice is kind of extreme ice. I feel like it's almost black ice.
Yeah. We can tweak it.
Yeah. So our ice I'd say it's more slippery than Mario right now. It feels very slippery. And so, is there, besides the themes, what other parts of the game are you spending your time on?
So we have a few ones. Eric is doing the music. We have the character rig. We have the background, but it's still on the teams. And all the logo and UI for the game is still at work.
And so as far as the character goes, let's talk about the evolution of that character.
Yeah, so the character was 16 by 16 in the beginning. Now he's 64 by 32.
So one of the things that we've gone through with the game, which is I think really just shows how much this game is matured already internally, is that we actually redid every pixel of the graphics of the game since we started.
Right.
So we started out with a style which was kind of that 8-bit feel, and then I don't know, almost a year into development, we said this isn't really working and let's redo it.
Yeah, it was it was fun to play, but it was a bit too small. We didn't really see the character before. So now he's big on the screen. The character is double the size of what he was. And he's also a bit easier to animate him.
He actually has 8 times the pixels that he originally had, because he's double the height that he was, and he's 4x4.
And he's not bald anymore.
Yeah, so original character was called Baby Man internally, and we'll see if Baby Man makes a reappearance, but he was this meant to be kind of like basic B dude who was just there and meant to be very average in every way so that we could kind of do better from there. It's like, hey, let's start out with the most basic.
He's a
garbage,
basic character to make it at least have something on the game to see how he is walking around and stuff like this. But he was kind of, well, you don't like him, but he was okay. He was, I mean, he's not so ugly.
And then so he was ugly, but we have to think about like how are we going to evolve the character in the future, and I think a big part of how we've been doing that is related to the rigging system. So I think that's something that we could talk about.
We saw this new character is fully animated and is every part of it is an image. So we can customize it. Every element of it can be customizable, and hairstyle, beard. It can be a robot. It can be non-human shape or.
Right, and I think that's one of the things is like we talked about is the main character even a human? And for now, the main character is a human, but we don't have to stay there. And obviously, our company is not a stranger to non-human characters, so it's something we're considering for the future. If you have a suggestion of a character we should use or like just a concept, feel free to tell us in the comments, and we'd love to consider it as we move forward. I think we're going to launch the game with this single character, but we have lots of things we want to do in the future there.
For sure.
And then is there anything else going on at Bling that you're working on as far as Blingdoms goes that besides the character, like what's the main thing you're working on right now?
Well, I am working mainly on the logo for now, icon, and the UI of the game, how to navigate on the game. But soon gonna come the website also.
Super excited about that because we have a lot of cool ideas for what we're gonna do with the website for this game, and it's gonna be much more involved in the long run and more challenging for us to do than what we've done in just the stuff we've talked about doing. Super excited. So where are you from, Breno?
So I was born in Brazil and I grew up in France.
And that is the secret word of the week. The secret word of the week is France, in honor of our designer Breno.
Nice.
Love the French energy.
And Valentin too.
Yeah, so we had an employee that unfortunately had to take off, but maybe he's watching, and we had a good French vibe going in the office, and now we're just left with Breno. Breno, do you see yourself as more French or Brazilian?
So I see myself more French because I grew up in France, but we used to speak only Portuguese on the house. So I am both. I speak Portuguese.
Wait, so did you speak French like when you were like 4 years old, or did you only speak Portuguese when you were 4? Did you have to go to school to learn French? Or?
Yes, kind of.
That was the most confusing answer I've ever heard.
So
I feel like you just had an argument with yourself.
Right. My dad was forced to speak Portuguese on the house.
Oh, interesting.
So we could have learned, but outside of my house we speak only French. So Portuguese were only in the house.
Wow, that's kind of cool. So if someone speaks French, can they kind of understand Portuguese a little bit, or can you?
I don't think so.
Can you tell secrets? And like,
so
if you had a French friend over,
but I don't think is
it's not
easy to understand.
It's not one of those. So you can have secret conversations when your French friends come over and things like that, and they don't know.
For sure, yeah. I do it in all the languages.
You
I
got
can
lots
speak
of
about everybody.
Yeah, you got lots of options.
Fine.
So because you've got Spanish that you're pretty good at, right? You're like.
Yeah, I am okay now.
Portuguese, French, and English.
Yes.
So that's typical European style right there. And you can go on a road trip, and wherever you go, you can speak the language basically, unless you get to Germany.
Normally what I do is I don't say I speak the language like this. I wait for people to speak
to hear
it, and I can
Can hear if they say anything about you.
Yeah. This is what I do.
Has there ever been a situation where you chose to speak a different language to someone because you didn't want them to know that you spoke?
For sure. Sometimes on the street, some guy contact me. I don't speak the English, and I go away.
There you go. Well, you have the accent. They would believe that too. So, right on. Well, Breno, thank you for coming on, and obviously, thank you for all your work on Blingdoms. Your fingerprints are all over the game, and every pixel that's there. And we thank you for your time today to talk about it, and hopefully, we can get you back on sometime in the future after launch to talk more about stuff that's in there.
You're welcome.
Right on.
The time has come
To spin the wheel. Eric, you want to do the honors?
Sure, I'll do the honors.
Breno! What did we get? Oh, wow. It's the 250 million.
Is it?
Yes.
I see 200 on my side. I
Wait,
don't know.
is it? No. Oh, it's actually on the top.
On the top, so
Wait,
we'll go with the higher price.
Let's be generous.
Let's be
It's
generous.
the two. Okay, it was the 250 million. So
There you go.
that's what the winner's going to get this week. And as you know, the secret word is in the video.
Mm-hmm.
So go find it. There's going to be a form that you can enter the results below to enter the contest. So that's it for this episode of High Points. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, come back next week or the week after.
Whenever
Join
we
our
actually
Discord.
post a video.